Callie Bally.
Hi.
Hello, Toast. Hello, Toast. Ooh, I love you, Toast. 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 What you doing? What you doing? You gonna dance? Dance. Dance. Dance, Toast. Dance, Toast. Dance. Shake your butt. Shake your butt. Yes! Good dog. Good girl, but eat your food. Yes. 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 Eat your food, girl. Yes. Let's go, Toast. Toast. Come to the cage. Toast. Come here, girl. Come on. Let's go.
You need to get a back brace.
You?
Yeah. Nope. What's my neck looking? I know.
They're so cute.
I know.
Little hamsters. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Sahara and Bonnie Bullies. This is Tony. We're family-owned Frenchies and pocket/XXL American Bullies. We have the pups out. We're about to get everybody out. Get the whole pack out here. And today's going to be a little bit of a special video. I've already recorded it twice, but something's happened with the footage and whatnot. So sucks, but looks like we're just going to have to re-record it. But judging by the title of this video, you probably already know. We are going to be choosing our keeper from the Bertha Bishop litter, and I'm going to be teaching you guys how I go about choosing a keeper. Okay, everybody, we have the 3 pups out: Bertha, Bishop, and Spice. 6 dogs in total. That's the whole pack out. And yeah, like I said, we had recorded a whole bunch of footage beforehand and had it all edited out, all that sort of thing. Lost the footage somehow. I'm not going to get into it, but sucks, but that's how it goes. So who's the keeper from this litter, and how am I going to go about looking at it? Well, I guess first off, what I'll say is that DNA is a very complicated thing, guys. It's has millions of factors to it, and DNA tests aren't going to give you specifics. I don't think I know of one DNA test that's really going to tell you what we're really looking for. There are some that tell you a little bit about their health, their liver health, and their coat color and their body types and stuff, but they don't give you real specifics. So DNA tests aren't really something that you can just get for 2 dogs and compare it side by side as if it's like a chart or a table or something like that. You are going to have to take what's in front of you and judge it, and basically work with what you have. So that's the first thing I'll say, is that this isn't an exact science. This is a judgment type of deal, based off your own judgment. So the American Bully is a 30-year-old breed. It's fairly new breed, meaning it has its own parent breeds. And because of the nature of the American Bully, how they have different classes such as micros, pockets, classics, extremes, XLs, XXLs, XXLs aren't really XXLs aren't an official class, but they are, at least I consider them to be a real thing. So that's why I breed towards them. I'm putting up a chart right now. Hopefully you can see it. But basically the only difference between an XL and an XXL for American Bullies would be the height from the bottom of their feet to the top of their shoulders. And I think it's somewhere around 24 inches and above that they are not classified as an XL anymore, and that's what I would classify as an XXL. Another thing is weight, but I don't think they really classify weight I don't think they really classify weight, so it's really just about height. But because there's such a difference in classes for the American Bully, there's got to be ways to get to those classes, and the way they've done that is they've bred bulldogs and pit bulls and mastiffs like boer bulls and Cane Corsos, things of that nature, and that's how they get these sizes of dogs. It's not like you can just write a dog on paper and then just have it the next day. You know, if you're gonna be having a new breed, you're gonna have parent breeds, and you're going to be picking offspring that match the description. So, you know, you're going to have variables in there, and a large variety, especially with the American Bully, because of the reasons that I just said. With that out of the way, the larger that we're getting, because what I'm about to do is pick out an XXL American Bully keeper for our next XXLs in 2 years when they will have a litter. And so I'm going to be looking for structure first and foremost, personality. Coat color is a thing, but I'm not too worried about that. Size, and that is pretty much where I'm getting at. Can you guys guess which two I'm going to be choosing as candidates for our keeper? I'll let you take a guess. It's Collie and it's Appa. Pancake has already been sold. We're just waiting for the person who has bought her to come pick her up. We've kept Collie and Appa to see which one would be our keeper, and I'm about to compare the two and show you how. So, that's them two right there. Collie's the one with the white collar around her neck. Appa is the one that looks like she has an arrow on the top of her head, just like the Avatar's bison. So, Appa and Collie. She's just got the biggest stick ever. The first thing that I'm looking at is the top line of the dog. As you can see on Bertha, her top line is amazing. It's great. That has translated into Appa. Appa has an amazing top line. She can really have a straight back even when she's walking. Let me get out the thing. She can have a straight back even when she's walking. When she's standing, she always has a straight, flat back, and that's what we call a top line. Now, usually what that means when they have a really good top line is they have very correct legs. So all of that put together, the way she stands on her paws, the angulation in her rear legs, the length in her front and rear legs, all of that together, her shoulder placement, her hip placement has all came together, and it's all made a great flat level back. And that is a really strong plus for Appa, which is why I've taken the time to consider it. Bishop, stop it, boy. So Collie has a very slight high rear, but that is very slight. It's not extreme, it's not drastic. As most flaws are, it's a very subtle flaw. Now, the reason that I think she has a slight high rear is because of her front shoulders. I think her front shoulders aren't placed right. Either that or her front legs aren't the correct height. Now, of course, she runs, she plays. She's just like a normal dog. It's not like she has anything crazy, like a crazy disability or anything. This is just from the perspective of a breeder who is judging the pups, who is looking for a keeper, and is trying to see what they're working with. So obviously, if you're just having a dog as a pet, Collie would be a perfect pet. There's nothing wrong with her at all, really. It's just that when you're looking at her from a breeding perspective, we are looking for certain things. So if I'm going to be looking at her, she can definitely stack out her high rear, just like right now. As I say that, look at that. Just as I say that, she does it. And she's done it a million times, so I know it's not crazy, and it's easy to work with. Even if she couldn't stack it out, it doesn't mean she's not a breedable dog. It just means that this is what you're working with, and if you're going to be breeding a dog like that, then you're going to be looking for a stud hey, Bishop, don't do that, boy, that is accommodating for these things. Get out of there! So, had to stop recording for a second and handle something. Some cats, some neighborhood cats. But one of the first things that I also look at, I've already checked both Appa and Collie's bite. That's Appa right there. Both of them have a clean, correct bite, no teeth missing. There's not an underbite. There's not an overbite. There's no obstruction when they close their mouth. There's a very clean scissor bite in the both of them. Also, there's a full palate, a full cleft in their mouth. There's no gap or anything like that. So both of them are good on that. And that's some of the first things that I look at that are obvious, that are easy to see, and that you can also look at with your dogs. This is so cute. So what you'll see on Spice here, for example, her rear legs are too straight. There's no angulation in her stifles, and that's what causes her high rear. She has a high rear. And then she also walks a little funny, and that's because her rear hips have, or just her hips, I guess her hips have dysplasia. At least in my opinion. I haven't had an OFA test on her. I don't plan to breed her. We've missed her heat 3 times already. I think she's about to go into heat right now, so it's best to keep her away. And probably take the dogs out separately right now, after this is all done. But basically, what I'm seeing is she most likely has some hip dysplasia and a high rear. Opt to not breed her. She's likely not going to be bred. And it'd be very hard to justify breeding her because hip dysplasia can skip generations. So even if her kids don't come out with hip dysplasia, if she does have genetic dysplasia, it can show up in her grandkids. Supposing somebody breeds her kids and doesn't know that they have hip dysplasia in their genetics. Now, the thing about that is, with big dogs like this, big bullies that is, again, what I was saying before about how, Bertha, get out of there. Bertha, what'd I say? Get out. Right now. Move. What I was saying before is, with the Mastiffs, and sorry that I'm yelling at her like that, it's because there's been a cat right there. That's what I had to stop recording for. But the way that they get to XXLs and XL bullies is they breed Mastiffs and Mastiff blood, Borbal blood into these dogs. And in turn, what you're gonna see is more hip dysplasia because that's a common thing with these big dogs. Sloppy walks. You're also gonna see more the walk getting sloppier, the structure getting sloppier, more high rears, swayed backs. That's the type of things that you see when they start getting big. and specifically with the XL bullies. Spice's rear legs and hips are, it'd be very hard to justify breeding her. And so we don't really plan to breed her. We just plan to keep her as a pet. And why is it so messy up here? I swear I just cleaned this up. Just see how Spice's legs naturally stand. Her rear legs are kind of off to the side because of her hip dysplasia. And then her stifle is just way too straight. If you see that right there, that's what causes her high rear on her. Collie right here has a slight high rear, but it's not so extreme. So another thing that I'm going to be thinking about when it comes to these pups and my keeper is the personality of the two. Now, when we're looking at the American Bully specifically, the American Bully is supposed to be a more docile pit bull type of dog. And by docile, what I think they mean is less animal aggressive. There's not generally a human aggression problem with these dogs. There isn't. But again, the parent breeds of the American Bully being pit bulls, bulldogs, and mastiffs all have traits of animal aggression, all have traits of... Bishop! Get back here, boy. Stop trying to get away from me. They all have traits of animal and human aggression. Now, American Bullies specifically, throughout the past 30 years, I haven't seen any real issue with human aggression, besides what's happened in the UK with what I'm guessing to be either mixed breeds, or I'm gonna be guessing either Kimbo blood or something of the sort that has been known for human aggression. But when we're looking at personality with the American Bully, who am I going to choose between Appa and Collie? Well, if I'm looking at Collie doesn't care about being pushed around. She doesn't care about being on top. When she's playing, she plays on her back most of the time. She really hardly cares about, she really doesn't care about possessing sticks or anything of the sort. She lets it go pretty easily. Appa, on the other hand, really does care about sticks. She cares about being on the bottom when she's playing, as in being on her back, and she cares about being roughhoused and whatever else. So if I'm looking at it that way, Collie is the more chill-headed, level, more relaxed, docile dog than Appa is. Now, that doesn't mean that Appa is not breedable or that something's wrong with her. Appa doesn't have any neurotic behaviors or anything of the sort. It just means that she's a more serious dog who's more than likely going to have more dominant tendencies in her life and as an adult. So if I'm going to be breeding and making offspring that fit the American Bully description, I'm going to be looking at, you know, a more docile dog. That being said, though, Appa really does love to just stay still and accept love from people. She loves getting pets and kisses and, you know, being carried. And that is a very big plus when it comes to the American Bully, who's supposed to be a very family-oriented, loving dog. But then again, you're looking at a little bit of dominant tendencies in her, even as a puppy. So imagine her as an adult. She is going to be throwing her weight around, and that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with her. It just means that's the kind of dog she is. Now, if we compare the two completely, of Collie and Appa, look at this. This is crazy. This is super crazy. Now, if I'm looking at the two of these, Appa and Collie, you can also see that Collie has a thicker body. Now, the head of an American Bully, when they're born, is usually going to be skinnier. Don't get it wrong, even though they have skinny heads, it doesn't matter that much. What you're gonna be seeing is, in most American Bully puppies, you'll see very thin heads. Jesus. You'll see very thin heads as a pup, and then once they get older and they mature to 2-3 years old, then they start getting very big blocky heads like Bishop, like Bertha, like Spice here. So you might think that they have terrier style heads, but once they hit that 2-3 year mark and they start maturing and being of age, they'll start to fill out and look like an American Bully, how an American Bully should. So I'm not so worried about how thick Appa is compared to Collie, because Collie is a thicker pup. Because I know that genetics will take care of everything, and Appa is going to be a big dog anyways. If you look at both Bishop and Bertha, they have huge heads, huge bodies. So even though she looks thinner, I'm not worried about it. I know genetics will take care of that. She's gonna be a big fat bully anyways. But if we're gonna be looking at them right now, it's very, very good signs that Collie is already thick. You can see the bully head on her already. That's a big, nice dome on her. And then you can also see that she's just thicker when it comes to her paws, her legs, her hind, as in her butt. You can see that she's a thicker dog than Appa. So those are all the comparisons between the two. Appa has the straight back. She has the color to her as well. She has tick coloring. And when I say tick, I don't mean the bug. I mean coat pattern. Tick coloring is when they have ticking throughout their body like this. It's most easily seen in their paws. So you can see Pancake has a lot of it right there. Compared to Collie's paws, Collie doesn't have a tick coloring on her. You see it's pure white. And it's not just the paws, it's throughout their bodies, but it's easier to see in their paws. You see she even has it in her neck. Appa has it in her neck there. And they're all brindle, they're blue brindle. So they have coloring in their bodies, and they all look good. Collie doesn't have tick coloring, but that's not a big issue to me. I don't really care about that. So if you can't tell, I'm choosing Collie. I think Collie is the best fit for our XLs or XXLs. I think she's going to be our next. I think she's the one that's going to be continuing our lines. We might keep Appa as well. That's a big if, though. I'm just going to keep her to keep an eye on her and see what's going on with her. And then we can, figure out if we're going to sell her to somebody else or if we're going to maybe have two. But if I'm only keeping one, I'm keeping Collie here. Although Collie has a slight high rear, again, I'm not too worried about that. I just need to find a stud with a very strong, if we're thinking about it in terms of breeders. If we're thinking about it as a breeder, we're looking for a stud that has a very strong front, some nice long front legs, thick front legs. The shoulder placement on that stud needs to be perfect, needs to be an H-frame. And then possibly some more angulation in the rear legs to kind of balance out her slight high rear. Again, it's not as drastic as Spice's for instance. But you will see that she does have it. And obviously she can stack it out as you've seen in this video, but it's there. And when she walks, you can see it. But that's what we'd be looking for. Compared to Appa, if we were to keep Appa, we have the strong body structure. What we would need is some more thickness to her. And so we would be looking for all those things in a stud, and then also some thickness, some blockiness to them. I hope that helps a lot. This is our keeper from the Bertha Bishop litter. It's going to be Collie for our XLs, and look at how much water Collie has just drank. I think it's enough water for her. Again, different dogs call for different things, because just like how we're looking for these things in the American Bully, that doesn't mean that you're looking for the same things in other dog breeds. For example, when it comes to bulldogs, some people don't really care about an underbite as long as it's not drastic. You know, they might pass even though they have a slight underbite. And that's just with bulldogs. With most other dogs, you're not going to have that. So, you know what I mean? It's kind of like whatever people are looking for in these dogs is what you're going to be breeding towards. And for me personally, when I think of an American Bully, I'm thinking big, fat pit bull, more docile when it comes to people and other dogs. Even though in my personal opinion, I think pit bulls are already docile, they do have animal aggression built into them. Hey, psh, Appa, don't do that. So I'm gonna keep an update on you guys. Look at these two big fat puppies. These are the parents to the litter here. It's a collie and Appa. We had a successful litter. Pretty much everybody's gone. Pancake is sold, and we're just waiting for that person to pick her up. And that's pretty much the story of our XL litter there. Our next litter is probably going to be Frenchies. We're looking at Pongo and Maggie. And we're going to be keeping hopefully we'll keep a girl or, you know, something like that off of them. Oh, it's hot. It's hot out here. Let's get inside. Let's go. A lot of people are confused about why their puppy is so skinny as a you know, a pup, but it's actually a good thing. You should really be aiming for a nice maintained kind of a skinnier weight on your pup, especially when it comes to these mastiff type dogs. And that's because if you put too much weight on their cartilage and their ligaments now, they're going to be growing with a lot of pressure on those, and obviously that's going to affect their health in the long term. It's better to protect their ligaments and joints by keeping their body light and letting them actually grow into their bodies, and then putting some weight on them once they've become solidified and strong. And obviously pups sell better when you get them real big and fat for American Bullies, and so people will overfeed their pups and their dogs, but that's not the best way to do it. And I'm sorry, but yes, I know that they're going to sell faster and better when you overfeed them and get them fat like that, but I'm not going to do it because it's a bad thing to do for their health. And a lot of people don't understand that, but I just have to explain to people that's what happens. And if they believe me, then, you know, that look at this girl's ears. If they believe me or not, that's not, you know, the issue. Although I will try to, you know, explain to them that that's exactly what happens, and that you should be trying to aim for a lighter pup. Because first of all, genetics is going to take care of everything when they're adults, as long as you feed them the correct amount. And instead of making them fat now so they look good now, why don't you give them a lifetime of looking good and feeling good, if you can just be disciplined and wait it out until they mature and become adults. And the head is the same way. You know, people are always wondering and so worried about the head of an American Bully. But you shouldn't be, because as soon as they grow and mature, assuming that you have some real American Bully parents, then you're going to find big fat blocky heads once they start to pop in. Now, there are pups out there that are born with big blocky fat heads just right off the get for American. But that's only because the American Bully has the different variety of bloods, as I was talking to you about. Bulldogs, Mastiffs all have big blocky heads, and when they have a lot of that blood in them, they're going to come out with big blocky heads from birth. Does that mean they're any better than the American Bullies that come out with skinny heads from birth? I don't think so, me personally. But you know, you can, because at the end of the day, they're all going to have blocky heads once they grow old. One thing that I also want to mention is that the way that their paws face forward is pretty important, and there are certain things that can affect the way their paws face. And if it's not because they have something wrong with their shoulders or their hips, or if they have something wrong with their feet or something like that, it's likely due to their environmental and their lifestyle. It's likely due to their environment and their lifestyle. Because if a dog is crouched for a lot of their lives when they drink or when they eat, you can actually have them grow into a more east-west stance. And by east-west, I mean their paws face east and west, you know, as in instead of pointing straight, they point outwards. And that can happen through environment, that can happen through their lifestyle. And that's why it's important to elevate their food and most of the time their water as well. Hey, Appa, don't chew that. Don't chew that, girl. That's a bad girl. Don't do that. Appa, shh. Don't touch that, girl. She's over there like, what? This cord in my paws? Yes, that cord in your paws. Don't do that. Thanks for watching. This is Tony with Sahara Bonnie Bullies, family-owned Frenchies, Pocket and XXL American Bullies. I hope this helps out. If you want some more videos about dog education, dog breeding, or just videos that are entertaining to watch when it comes to pack videos and whatnot, like and subscribe and keep up with the channel and the kennel. Hop over there. Appa's really trying not to bite this cord.